things do manifest. In other words, that's what this physical life experience is about. This is the place where the vibration that you consider the most often manifests into the life that you are living. You are the creator of your experience because you offer vibrations, and those vibrations actualize into what you're living. So the people that surround you in traffic, the people that serve you in restaurants, the people who gather around you in all aspects of your life are vibrational reflections of what you are offering. Your mood and attitude must be the most significant thing to you, because your mood and attitude is the true indication of the vibrational countenance of your being, which is becoming the life experience that you are living, you see. So as you get it, that the way you feel means everything, but you're easy about where you stand as you softly just reach for the best feeling thought you can find for where you are. Now you get pointed in the right direction on every subject that is important to you, and you just gradually fork your way, one thought at a time, in the direction of what you want. And what we want you to understand is that it does not even matter if you're standing here worried about money and you're saying, I don't have enough money, as you're forking away from money. I resent the fact that I don't have enough money. I'm angry that my parents didn't provide me with an education so that I could get a job that pays more. I'm irritated with all the rich people who are earning more or getting more than they even deserve. In other words, you can fork for years away from allowing yourself abundance. But at any point along that forking trail, you can stop and say, hey, wait a minute. This negative emotion that I'm feeling may be an indicator that I am not moving toward something that's going to please me when I get there. And at any point, in any moment, in any day, you can make an effort to fork in the other direction. As you reach for a thought that feels better, the first thought that feels better is a little hard to come by. And if you try to reach for a thought that really feels better, it's not only hard to come by, it's not likely that it's going to come. You've got to take a small fork and then another small fork. And so you might be in a mood about something where you fork this way and then this way and then this way and then this way and then this way, this way, this way, then this way, then this way, this way, this way, then this way. But if you will stay with it, you'll get hold of something and you'll fork this way and 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 then this way and this way. And the thing that we want you to do is we want you to make peace with wherever you are while you are making the effort to lean, fork, in the direction of what feels better. And as you begin to play this game, where you are finally once and for all recognizing that you are creating your experience and that it is turning out in response to the way that you've been feeling, and that you do have control, slight control, about the way you feel. One of Esther's favorite sayings that she ever heard from anyone was, you will recall his name perhaps, he talked about the little trim tab on the rudder. The rudder makes the big choices for the ship, but the trim tab is what helps to get the rudder ready for those big choices. In other words, it is those little choices that you're making moment by moment by moment by moment that are really steering the ship that you call your life.
It was Bucky.
It was Bucky.
Fuller.
It is a wonderful analogy, and accurate too, because so often humans want to take the bull by the horns and with a fell swoop of action change the course of something. We were visiting with physicians, many health practitioners, in San Antonio a few weeks ago, and as they talk about their patients who have diseases, of course, not wanted, and the reaching through science and medicine for cures to those diseases, they could not help but notice that many of their patients, in fact, close to 100% of them, once they receive a cure for such and such a disease, before they turn around very many times, have another disease, needing another cure. And we say it's because they're not getting to the vibrational cause of what's going on. And so they're slapping a Band-Aid on it, so to speak, with the medicine or with the surgery, but they are not doing anything to affect the vibrational reason. So they get the medication or they get the surgery, but with their attitude and mood, they keep marching off into the same corner again. I want to help you to come into a sort of determined conscious awareness that you are a very, very good person, that you are source energy in a physical body, and that life is supposed to be good for you. And it is our desire that you leave here today, no matter where you regularly hang out on this emotional scale, making peace with where you temporarily are, as you understand that where you are is temporary, because you have power right here and now to lean in the direction of something that is an improved experience. So here you're standing in the middle of whatever life experiences you're standing in. You have experiences around money and experiences around relationships and experiences around your body, experiences around what you call your work or your livelihood. And what we want you to realize is that every subject, when you pick up the subject stick that you call money, on one end of it is plenty of money, and on the other end of it is not enough money. When you pick up the stick that says physical body, on one end of it is wellness, outrageous abundance of well-being, and on the other end of it is sickness. So every subject really is two subjects, and you can tell by the way you feel when a subject is activated within you which end of the stick you are most likely to be, or you've practiced yourself into being a vibrational match to. So imagine this stick, subject stick, being out there in the process of being manifested, and over in that direction is a full-blown manifestation that when it happens, it's just going to thrill you. And over at that end of the stick is a full-blown manifestation that when it happens, it's not going to thrill you. And what we want you to get the sense of is that in every moment, you are marching toward one end of the stick or somewhere on the stick or the other on every subject that's active within you. People will say to us, Abraham, it just came out of the blue. And we say, no, it didn't. You've been marching toward it for a long time. And the thing that we want to impress upon you here today is that if you're you're marching toward things that when they get there, you're not going to like them. If you're fearful, when you get there, you're not going to like it. If you're joyful, when you get there, you're really going to like it. Now, 99% and then some of every creation is completed vibrationally before you see the physical evidence of it. And we think what's confusing so many of you is that you are deliberately or indeliberately marching right toward things. And when they get there and manifest, you do not have clear realization that you had power to determine which direction you were marching. Because most of you are marching in the direction of things that you are already seeing. In other words, most people talk mostly about what is. Most people talk mostly about how it is instead of about how they would like it to be. So what happens is you just keep regurgitating your experience, different places, different faces, but essentially the same experience just keeps showing up over and over again because you are regurgitating life rather than creating life. In every moment, you're forking in the direction of something, and if you keep up the forking tendency that you've already got going, eventually it's going to manifest into something really wanted or something really not wanted. It depends upon which direction you're forking. You get the sense of forking like forks in the road? So here you stand, and where you are is where you are. You cannot transport yourself into a different vibration. Where you are is where you are, and where you are is just fine on every subject in the world. So, as you're standing here now, in the small decisions that you make from where you stand, you are determining the direction of your vibrational flow. So, here you are over here as source energy being, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, brilliant, joyful, abundant, thriving. That's who you are. The question is, are you forking toward those kinds of manifestations, or are you forking in opposition? And we want to remind you that when you are forking in opposition, you're getting warning bells that are letting you know you're forking in opposition. So when you are on a path that feels like relief, that means you're moving toward something that's really going to please you when you get there. Do you know, you may not believe this, it's hard for us to believe, there are physical humans that believe that there are illnesses that are incurable. Can you believe it? It's absurd. Because as you stand in the middle of your illness, you're sending out rockets of desire for wellness to which source is saying, yes, immediately. Come this way, come this way, come this way, come this way, come this way. But so many people have lost sight of the sound and sight and feel of that beckoning source. And instead they're listening to the peanut gallery out there that says, come this way, try this, try this, try this. You're unworthy. You did wrong things. You ate wrong. You smoked things you shouldn't have smoked. You did bad things. And now you cannot recover. And we say, yes, you can. You can get to any place you want to be from any place that you are. It is law. You've just got to get pointed in the direction of what you want and keep going, which means you've got to find a way of quantifying your journey. You've got to figure out which way is the way toward what you want. And what we find so interesting is that there are people all over the planet that would tell you every single time that when you're in rage and anger, you are in a wrong place. And we say, they don't know. Because they don't know about your points of vibrational relativity. They don't know that source is calling you through the anger zone, into the frustration zone, into the well-being zone. In other words, they don't know. They don't have your 2 points of vibrational relativity within them. They don't know. But you do. If you will activate your own guidance system, you'll be able to tell whether you are moving towards something that will please you or towards something that will not please you when it manifests. Life is about focus. But life must be about the way my focus causes me to feel and my willingness to contour my focus to affect the way I feel. That's the way you mold. It's like the sculptor takes the big clump of clay and you never see him splat it down and then complain, oh, that didn't turn out right. He wants to get his hands in it, and he wants to work with the clay until the clay on the table takes the form and shape of the image in his mind. And while the image in his mind may continue to evolve as he moves along, still his effort is about causing the image in his mind to be transported to what he's molding in front of him. And you are doing exactly the same thing, but the clay that you are utilizing is the energy of thought. It's ever so much easier than any of you have been allowing yourself to understand it. It is so simple when you finally get it that good is good. But we think that what's been tripping you up is that you've been unwilling to call revenge good. And we think that anyone who stepped from fear into revenge did a good thing. We would never coach you from frustration into revenge. And we don't think you'd ask for that. But we would coach you from revenge into frustration. And we would call frustration good. We would call it going into the light. And that's the thing that we want you to hear here today. If you're mad, don't beat up on yourself for being mad. Ask yourself the question, I must have been someplace deeper and darker than mad. And this anger is an improvement of that. What was really bothering me? What was bothering me that I have moved from? And as you take a moment and feel proud about your movement forward, you're rolling. You're moving in the right direction. Your forking technique has begun. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing off limits here. You will notice a perfect unfolding as those who come before you sometimes will lay the groundwork. We will move through this day comfortably and easily by selecting from among you those who best represent what the most of you are